better daily, where we work hard in our minds, bodies, and our spirits to become 1% better every single day. Download the app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.life to catch the video version of these podcasts. Here's your host and my dad, Alex Van Houten.
What is up, Betterment family? This is Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live. Happy Tuesday. Today is Nutrition Tip Tuesday, and on Nutrition Tip Tuesday, we go through something that'll be helpful and practical to you in your 1% betterment journey. And so today we'll be talking about fiber, and I have a little bit of show and tell for you. So we did some fajitas recently. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the Extreme Wellness High Fiber Tortilla. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the way what fiber actually does in our body and the way it's also marketed from a food company perspective, and to help you wrap your head around, some things you might want to watch out for. So first, fiber is a powerful and important part of our diets. Females are supposed to get somewhere between 20 and 30 grams per day, and males are supposed to get somewhere between 30 and 40 grams per day of dietary fiber. There are two very specific types of fiber. One's called insoluble fiber. That's the kind that you can't digest. It doesn't break down. And so what it does, its job, is to help move things through the digestive tract. More insoluble fiber means things will move more quickly through the digestive tract. And then there's soluble fiber. This is the kind that is able to be absorbed by water. And so soluble fiber helps to bulk the food through the digestive tract. Now, what I wanted to show you was that in food companies, they market fiber a bunch of different ways, right? So you can see right here, boom, in big bold letters, high fiber. Like, this is a really good thing. You need high fiber, right? And then we've got in the bottom right corner, I don't know if you can see that or not, it says, we've got a little glare here, it says keto friendly, as in like this will help you stay in ketosis. If you're interested in staying in ketosis, it's keto friendly. And then there is another little claim here about how many net carbs there are. 4 net carb grams per serving, and it has a little asterisk next to it. And the asterisk is kind of important because when we're talking about consuming foods, maybe you're eating a low carb diet for blood sugar purposes, right? So that's important. You're trying to keep your blood sugar relatively stable and low so as not to create unnecessary insulin responses, create insulin resistance, and perhaps collect fat or cause damage on the inside of you. Maybe you're wrestling with metabolic syndrome or obesity or type 2 diabetes, and all of those things require that you keep your blood sugar nice and stable. And so net carbs matter to you. It's something that you're watching out for, right? Or perhaps you're trying to deal with some digestive stuff and you're trying to make sure that your fiber is in the right place. Or perhaps you're just trying to be smart about your macronutrients, and so you're trying to keep your carbohydrates in intelligent tandem with your weight training program. And so some days you might have lower carbohydrate intake days. Those would be things like non-training days or cardiovascular training days. And then you have your high carbohydrate intake days, which might be your weight training days. So, let's say you're trying to be intelligent in your nutrition and you go, okay, great. I need a high fiber, low net carb tortilla for our fajitas or our tacos, or maybe I'm going to do some sandwich wraps and stuff. And so you pick this up, right? Now, I mean, we ate these in our house. I'm not saying this is a terrible food product, but I want you to know what you're getting yourself into, okay? First of all, the total carbohydrates in this particular tortilla is 15 grams. Okay, so it's not 0 carb, it's 15 grams of carbs. And so even though the calculation, when we look at fiber in a second, will be relatively low net carbs, that doesn't mean that this is neutral with regard to your blood sugar. In fact, if you look at the ingredients, where are the carbs coming from? The first ingredient's water. The second ingredient is modified wheat starch. So the second ingredient is wheat. So we're getting carbohydrates from wheat here. Now, they're very large tortillas. And that sounds like a very small amount of carbohydrates. How do they get away with that? Aha! The fourth ingredient is cellulose. And this is why this is a high fiber tortilla and why I wanted to talk to you about fiber today. So if you look, dietary fiber, 11 grams. Where is that coming from? Cellulose. What's cellulose? You know what cellulose is? Cellulose is the main component of grass or bark on trees. Cellulose is what makes up the large components of most of the cell walls of plants. In cellulose, it's not necessarily harmful upon ingestion. We'll talk about that in a second. But we humans don't break that down, which is why it's insoluble fiber and apparently FDA approved to be in your foods, right? But we humans don't have the necessary machinery to break down cellulose. So it's basically like, it's not exactly like, but it's basically like grinding up your wood grains from the materials that I made my chicken coop from, and then putting that in with the wheat for your tortilla and then pounding it out and then saying, hey, good, look, it's a low carb tortilla with high fiber. Isn't that great? I don't know about that. It doesn't mean that it's not going to impact your blood sugar. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be particularly good on your digestive tract. So cows can break down grass because they have multiple stomachs. And that grass sits there for a long time and lets bacteria that have the enzymes to break down cellulose do their work, and cows can extract nutrients from grass that way. We humans cannot. We have a much shorter digestive tract compared to cows. It doesn't sit in there nearly as long, and so it kind of moves right through us. And so what you'll find with things like this, it's marketed low carb, high fiber, keto friendly, right? But one of the things you'll notice with something like this is it's really rough on your digestive tract. It's really rough on many people's digestive tracts because, remember, insoluble fiber makes things move through the digestive tract pretty quickly. And this is 11 grams of insoluble fiber per tortilla, right? So maybe you're like, oh, great, I have a 15-gram carbohydrate tortilla. I can have 3 tacos tonight, and it will be full of great vegetables. It'll be full of wonderful protein, right? And wow, I got 33 grams of fiber in my dinner. Isn't that awesome? Not so awesome in about 24 hours when your gut's like, bro, what have you done? Good morning, Janet. Thanks for joining me. And so you have to be really careful about this sort of thing. The other thing that's and I'm not saying this is bad for you again, we eat these in our house. We just don't eat them in excess. Okay. And that's the thing. You got to be careful with this sort of thing because it's not the excessive amount of carbohydrates that'll get to you. It's that cellulose can be really rough on a digestive tract. And if you want to know what the heck's wrong with you, it's probably not your protein shake. It's probably your super high cellulose tortillas. The next day. So slight side note though, the other thing that's kind of crazy about this is it's marketed as keto friendly. Okay, it says keto friendly. Why can it say that? Well, ketogenesis is something that has, taken on a lot of, publicity in the last few years. And the idea is having a super low carbohydrate diet will shift your body into a place where it has to create ketones out of fat in order to power your organs and your brain. And that this could be really good for weight loss and fat loss. Now, I'm not knocking the idea that a low carbohydrate diet might have a place in somebody's nutrition program. That might be a true thing, especially for medical reasons. But at the same time, when food companies market keto friendly, what they're really saying is that our net carbs are very low. Net carbs is a very simple calculation of total grams of carbohydrates minus dietary fiber. So here they've used 15 grams of wheat per tortilla, 15 grams of carbohydrates coming from wheat, and then they've subtracted the 11 grams of fiber coming from cellulose, coming from that ground up wood or grass or whatever they're using for cellulose. I don't know. I haven't looked into this company to find where they're getting their cellulose, but cellulose is naturally occurring in a lot of different places. So anyway, that said, they can say, oh, we have 4 grams of net carbs. That's keto friendly. Well, what's unfortunate for those of you who are trying to follow a low carbohydrate, low glycemic index, nice stable blood sugar diet is there is no research to suggest that adding cellulose to carbohydrates makes it any less impactful on your blood sugar. This is a regulatory number, meaning that it's just something we've used that says, hey, if we take grams of carbohydrates and we subtract fiber from those grams, then we get net carbs. And net carbs are helpful for diabetics to track, and they have generally better outcomes. Well, there's no studies that say whether or not adding cellulose to 15 grams of carbohydrates in a tortilla is actually going to keep you in ketogenesis. It's actually going to keep your blood sugar stable. The only way you would know that is if you had a continuous glucose monitor, something that told you whether or not eating these tortillas changed your blood sugar at all. My guess, my assumption is that you would digest this just as quickly as you would a normal flour tortilla with very, very similar spikes in blood sugar. And then as far as the cellulose is concerned, I mean, it would still operate as a dietary fiber, an insoluble dietary fiber, but it wouldn't really impact. And this is my guess. I don't have research to back me because they don't have research to back the claim that cellulose helps you stay in ketosis versus other carbohydrates. And so I want you to pay attention to this sort of thing because food companies use your desire to be healthy. They know about it. They know your desire to be healthy. And so, you know, they put this sort of thing out here. And honestly, I love a good taco. I love a good burrito now and then. And I might use a tortilla like this to get that job done. However, thinking of this as a wonderful health food with which you can use this instead of bread or something to make a great sandwich, you do a wrap instead, or you're going to use this on a regular basis to make enchiladas or something like that, and that's healthy. Watch out for that. Watch out for that sort of thing because the marketing here just does not paint the full picture of what you're actually eating. And at the end of the day, when you read the ingredients list, what you have is ground up wheat with some ground up sawdust, and woohoo, that might function as a tortilla once or twice, but I wouldn't make it a regular habit to put that in your system. Your stomach is not going to be very happy with you. So that is Nutrition Tip Tuesday. Today, fiber super important. Let's find some better sources than added cellulose in our extreme wellness tortillas. Things like berries, things like vegetables, cucumbers, peppers, mushrooms. You can get them in nuts and seeds. There's so many great sources of fiber that are actually packed with nutrients that will be powerful for you. You don't need it in your extreme wellness high fiber tortilla. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. Where do you get your fiber from? Also, when was the last time you noticed that a food company pulled the wool over your eyes via marketing? I would love to hear about that in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on Nutrition Tip Tuesday. This has been Alex Van Houten in Better Daily. Until next time, it's just 1%. You got this.
Thank you for joining us for 1% Better today. Don't forget to subscribe for the podcast. Leave us a raving review to tell others how Better Daily has helped you in your journey. If you want more Better Daily, download our app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live. Use code POD to get 25% off your subscription. That's POD, all caps, to save 25% on your subscription. We all have a cross to carry. It's lighter when we do it together. Go to betterdaily.live today.